Are you planning on taking a trip to Orlando this summer and going to one of the big theme parks? Well, if you are, this video is for you. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if this is the first time you're here, welcome. My name is Mitchell. Today we're going to be talking about how to plan for your trip to Disney or Universal Studios. Let's go. So let's talk about the most controversial opinion, park reservations. Personally, I don't like them, I don't agree with them, but you still have to have a park reservation for Disney World, so plan accordingly. Universal Studios, you don't have to have a park reservation, which I think is super awesome, so you don't have to plan quite as much for Universal Studios. To book a reservation at Walt Disney World is very simple. You could either Google Walt Disney World theme park tickets, or you could download the My Disney Experience app. Once you download the My Disney Experience app, all you have to do is go to theme park tickets and there should be a park reservation section. Typically, Universal Studios has the theme park bundle option, which allows you to go to the theme parks for more than one day. Typically, the bundles include 3 days at the theme parks. Let's talk about pricing. Disney World and Universal Studios are currently at the same price, $109 plus tax. Now, you gotta ask yourself, which park do you think would work best for your family? And you could consider possibly going to both. Same as Disney, you could either download the Universal Studios app or just Google Universal Studios theme park tickets. Now let's talk about where you're gonna stay whenever you're going to these theme parks. I personally enjoy staying at the resorts. Both Universal and Disney have 3 tiers of resorts. Universal's tiers are a little bit more confusing because some of them are sub-tiers. I'll talk about that in a second. And Disney is pretty self-explanatory with the exception of DVC, but don't worry about DVC if you aren't a Florida resident or if you don't have a bunch of money that you can spend at Disney World and come multiple times a year. If you're not one of those people, which most people aren't, then don't worry about DVC. So the first tier is the value tier. Now, for a while, Universal Studios didn't even have a value tier. They just had Cabana Bay. Cabana Bay was kind of its own tier on its own. Disney, on the other hand, has always had the value tier, and the value tier is usually Pop Century, Art of Animation, and All-Star Sports. It's called value tier for a reason. The value tiers are the lowest tiers. Now, it doesn't mean that they're bad hotels, it just means that you're not willing to spend the top dollar for a super big resort with a lot of amenities. You might be just looking for a room to stay in while you're at Disney or while you're at Universal. The moderate tier is a great option for people who aren't willing to go above and beyond for the top dominant tier of the deluxe resorts. They're the people that want to settle right in the middle, the people that just enjoy just enough and they don't need 100% luxury. As the name implies, moderate tier resorts are going to be more medium priced. These resorts still offer cool restaurants and they still have cool amenities and amazing room options as well. Some examples of moderate tier resorts would be Riverside at Disney. They also have French Quarter at Disney, which is basically a brother and sister resort. Over at Universal is pretty much Cabana Bay, and I guess you could kind of argue Aventura, except for Aventura is kind of its own tier on its own because it is very high-tech and advanced. Now, Disney does offer DVC, but if you don't come to the theme parks like 5 to 6 times a year, don't even worry about it. Honestly, it's for people with a lot of money. Depending on the week in Orlando, you could possibly find a really good price at a Marriott resort. You could even find a good price at NBC Suites. Just really do your research about which hotel works best for you or your family because there are so many options in Orlando. As I said, there's also very affordable options at Airbnb. If you book an Airbnb, you're probably going to be planning your vacation around cooking in the Airbnb, not so much eating out. Typically, Airbnbs are going to be bigger than a normal hotel room. You might have your own house or your own apartment or something like that. Now, Airbnbs are a great option, but obviously you don't have the same amenities if you're staying at an Airbnb. Do your research about transportation. When you're staying at a Disney resort, Disney has lots of transportation on Disney property. They're probably not going to take you to somewhere else in Orlando, so just be aware of that. Plan out your transportation. Same thing goes for Universal. If you're staying at a Universal resort, they will have transportation to the other resorts and to the theme parks, but they're probably not going to have transportation to other places in Orlando, so plan out your transportation. Now let's talk about the FastPass options, and if you don't know, Disney changed their FastPass from 2019 when they reopened, and Disney introduced Genie Plus in 2021, which is basically the FastPass system, but you have to pay for it. Do your research because this can get a little bit confusing. There are a few options for Genie Plus. Now there is the free option, which is just Disney Genie, which will kind of just suggest things for you to do, and it's honestly pretty worthless. But Genie Plus you have to pay for, which is basically your Lightning Lane experience. Lightning Lane is the same as FastPass. They just renamed it Lightning Lane because now you have to pay for it. But they just made a new change to Lightning Lane, which means that you can only book your lightning lane 24 hours in advance. So basically the day before you're going to the theme park, you're gonna have to book your lightning lanes. Now, this is pretty confusing and I made a video about it, so go check that video out. But trust me, it could be worth it because usually the price is $15 to $20. You're probably definitely gonna use the lightning lane, especially if you wanna do some of the bigger attractions. It could be worth the price for you, and maybe it isn't. If you're fine waiting in line, then maybe don't even worry about lightning lane at all. Now, Universal has their own version of lightning lane, and it does cost money, and Universal has always charged money for their express tickets. Now, express at Universal is exactly the same as lightning lane, but it works a little bit different. Typically, you buy a package that you attach to your ticket. So you buy express, you attach it to your ticket, they do it all for you. It's all good. You can scan in all day. You can buy express in advance, right? You can buy express so far in advance whenever you're planning your vacation. You could just be like, all right guys, next year we're going to Universal. Let's get express tickets because I want to ride all the rides. You can plan that in advance, buy express tickets, and you can express all day long. You can ride express on every single ride. You can do the express on some of the bigger rides. And currently express is sometimes offered at new rides like Velocicoaster and Hagrid's. Hagrid's has started using express more than Velocicoaster, but sometimes Velocicoaster will offer express as well. Don't plan your vacation around using express for Velocicoaster because that is hit or miss. Sometimes express is not offered at Velocicoaster and sometimes it is, so definitely don't plan for it to be offered at express. Now let's talk about how you pack for your Disney or Universal vacation. Guys, please pack light, especially if you're staying at a resort and you're going to use bell services. I've worked in the bell services industry for years, and I know that it is no fun when a family comes in with 50 bags and they have so many grocery bags. Sometimes they even have shoes on the bell car. It just gets 100% a mess, and I do not like it. So please, please, please don't pack a lot. Don't pack your entire house. I know you think you're gonna need everything, but you really will not need everything when you're staying at Disney or if you're staying at Universal. Please pack light. Now there is one exception when you might need more things to bring to the resort. If you're staying more than a week, you might need some extra stuff. You might need some extra food, you might need some extra shoes. If you're only staying 5 days, 4 days, 6 days, you don't need your entire house. Please pack light. You're gonna do yourself a favor. Now, if you're packing light, what items do you need? Which items are essential for a theme park vacation? Comfortable shoes. I cannot stress this enough. You need comfortable shoes. You're gonna be walking a ton when you're in Orlando, so please bring comfortable shoes. Swimming trunks. If you're staying at a resort or even a hotel like Embassy Suites, they're probably gonna have a pool. You're probably gonna get wet. Even at the theme parks, there's water rides, all that fun stuff. You're probably gonna get wet, and it is in Florida. Orlando, it rains a lot, so just sure that you're probably gonna get wet, so don't wear the fanciest clothes, except for if you're going out to dinner. That's a different story. But yes, just wear comfortable shoes, bring a swimsuit, wear comfortable clothes. It's gonna be hot. It's Florida. Unless you're coming in the wintertime, then maybe bring a jacket, because a lot of people don't think Florida gets cold, but if you're coming in the wintertime, please bring a jacket. Disney and Universal are both in Florida, and it rains a lot in Florida, so bring a raincoat or bring an umbrella or bring both. Just be prepared for it to rain because you never know when it's gonna rain. Any time of the day, it could rain. Any time of the night, so just be prepared for it to rain. In my opinion, the only time you should be bringing a large amount of food is if you're staying more than a week. If you're staying in a DVC property or you're staying in an Airbnb and you want to cook all your meals, then sure, go ahead, go grocery shopping, go crazy, bring as much food as you want, but just be aware that you're probably not going to eat it all. Trust me, I've seen so many bell carts filled to the brim with food, and by the time they leave, they don't even eat half of the food. Now, if you're staying less than a week, don't even worry about food. You're probably going to be eating at the theme parks or eating at restaurants or even at a fast food restaurant. You never know, but you're probably just going to be on the go all day long. You're not going to have enough time to really cook or anything like that. Maybe bring a few snacks, but typically when you're in the theme parks, you're probably going to be trying lots of unique foods and lots of cool desserts, lots of cool savory items. You're at a theme park, you're going to be trying new foods that you can only get at the theme park. At least that's what you should be doing. So you're not going to be bringing Lay's potato chips whenever you could be trying a churro. This is a tip that I actually don't use, but I think it's a great idea. If you're someone that gets very hot or very sweaty easily and you get very uncomfortable when you're hot and sweaty, bring a fan. They sell little portable fans. You could probably get them on Amazon. You could probably go to Five Below, somewhere like that. Target probably has them. Just bring one of those portable fans. A lot of them hang on your neck, and that will be a game changer. If you get very sweaty, very hot, and very uncomfortable in the heat, bring one of those little portable fans. They will be your best friend. Trust me. Bring some sort of travel backpack or maybe a fanny pack to the theme park. parks if you're coming with a family. If you're coming alone or just with one other person, might still want to bring a backpack or a fanny pack, but it might not be necessary. If you're coming with kids, if you're coming with your family, you're definitely going to need one designated backpack carrier. This doesn't mean everyone in your party needs a backpack or a fanny pack. This means one or two people need a backpack or fanny pack, so you could put your phones, your keys, your wallet, anything in the backpack. If you're going to go on a water ride, or if you're going to go somewhere else, or you need to put your stuff in a locker, if you're going to a water park, anything like that, bring a backpack or a fanny pack. Personally, if you're by yourself or just with one or two other people, just bring a fanny pack. Bring cash. I know that sounds weird, but definitely bring cash, especially if you're staying at a Disney or Universal resort, because if you're going to be using Bell services or going out to eat, you're going to be tipping, all right? You're going to be tipping the people that serve you, okay? If you're going to be using Bell services, you're going to tip your bellman. If you're going to be going to get a drink at the bar, you're going to be tipping your bartender. If you're going to be doing things in the resort, you're going to be tipping people, so you're going to have cash. Both Disney and Universal have great food options, but they're going to be pretty expensive, so just be ready to spend a little bit higher of a price for these incredible restaurants. And I will say Disney definitely does food a little bit better than Universal. Disney has some of the best restaurants probably in America. Universal, you cannot say the same thing, but their restaurants are still pretty pricey. You can get great food outside of the theme parks. You don't have to go to Disney, you don't have to go to Universal to get good food. There are plenty of restaurants outside of the theme parks that you can go to and you will enjoy tremendously. Definitely don't limit yourself to the theme park restaurants. Alright, so I know this is a lot of information. You might be asking me, Mitchell, how soon should I begin planning for my vacation? It's never too soon to begin planning for a vacation in Orlando, Florida, but if you're going to Disney, you're definitely going to need to plan a little bit sooner. Disney definitely takes time to plan, and don't underestimate it, because I cannot stress this enough. Start planning for Disney as soon as possible. If you've never been to Disney World before, it's going to be very hard to navigate everything, so start planning now. I would say the sooner the better for Disney World. And Universal, not so much. Disney World, on the other hand, definitely have to plan at least 3 to 4 months in advance, if not 6. I would recommend 6 months in advance for Disney World. Universal, a little bit less. Universal, without a reservation system, is a lot easier to plan for. Universal also has been offering the Express for many years. They know what they're doing. There's nothing wrong to going to both of the parks. I personally love Disney and Universal. Definitely plan in advance which one you're going to go to, if not both. My last bit of advice to you guys is don't rush, all right? I know it's going to seem hard to not rush through your vacation, but take your time, enjoy yourself. That's why you're on vacation. Don't think about doing every single ride. Just think about doing your top 3 favorite rides, right? If you're going to Magic Kingdom, pick your top 3 favorite rides. If you're with a group of 5 or less, ask everyone in your group to pick 3 rides and try to ride those 3 rides. We'll say you're not going to ride every single ride you're going to want to ride, so just stick to 3. If you want to ride all the rides at a theme park, that's a lot more realistic when you go to Universal because of the sheer volume of people in the park. Universal, there's a lot less people. Wait times seem to be lower at Universal, so going on every single attraction at Universal is definitely a lot more doable than it is at Disney, because Disney just has so much more to do. As always, thank you so much for watching today's video. If you like this video, maybe give it a thumbs up, maybe subscribe down below. It super helps me out. It helps me out so much, you have no idea. I love making these videos for you guys. I love helping you guys plan a vacation for Disney or Universal. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. I will definitely answer any questions that you might have for me, so leave them in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.